The picture you're looking at is a Daewoo hot water dispenser. It's the SDA1247. This particular one was bought from Wilko Stores Ltd in Rushden in Northamptonshire, and it was bought in June. I think the receipt said the 17th, and as some of you watch some of my videos will know, on the 28th of October, 1:35, we were awoken by the ADT alarm. The smoke sensor had been triggered. It's a monitored alarm, so ADT were immediately on the phone saying you've got a fire, and yeah, they were correct, and that is the result of the fire. We've obviously got a lot of cleaning to do. There is also some work surface damage, and it's what is it now, the 14th of November, and we're no further forward, and I'm going to do a different video just to cover what Wilkos have done or haven't done, and other things that have happened. But in this particular video we're just going to talk about what we have done to improve our house safety as far as fires and things like that go. I think fires are one of those things you just see on the local news or the national news, and you never really expect it's going to happen to you until it's too late, and it has. We're very, very lucky. We got away very lightly indeed. This could have been so much worse if we hadn't had smoke alarms, if the batteries had been flat, if we'd gone out after installing this thing. The list goes on and on and on, but we got away with it. We're very lucky. So what have we done? We had smoke alarms in some of the rooms in the house already. We obviously have the ADT alarm, and that smoke detector is installed in the hallway. Now luckily for us, we removed the kitchen door, so the hallway goes into the kitchen at one end, and years ago we took the door off because it was always open, and one of us was always walking into it, so we took it off. It was no need to have the door there. If we had have had the door fitted and closed, this would have been so much worse. It doesn't bear thinking about. The kitchen would have just gone up in flames, and we would have known about that at a very, very much later stage of the fire. So all these little things that add up to a very lucky escape, very much like you see these tragedies on various TV programs, plane crashes, whatever. There's never one specific thing that causes it. It's usually a build-up of very, very minor incidents or things happening, but when you put them all together, eventually they end up as leading to a tragedy. So it's interesting. Anyway, I thought we would have a little look at some of the items we've since purchased. Fire really concentrates the mind, and you start thinking, well, if a brand new item has gone up in flames like this, what else could go up in smoke, and where is it located? So we have a number of outbuildings here. I've got my workshop here. It's alarmed. We've got it's all linked to the ADT alarm system, but there's no smoke detector in here. So I thought, well, okay, let's protect some of the outbuildings with smoke detectors. Well, that's all very well, but if one's going off, are you even going to hear it? And then I started researching, and we came across not that one. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. I'm just going to pan this down a little bit. You've seen the image on YouTube. So what we found was these FireAngel Pros. They are wireless interlinked smoke detectors, a 10-year battery life. The battery isn't activated until you actually put the main unit there onto the base plate. So once that's screwed in place, then the battery is activated and you've got a 10-year battery life. I managed to find 4 of these at a very good price on eBay. 2 years ago was the manufacturing date, so no particular issues. The battery is sealed into the unit, it can't be replaced, but it's not really a problem. 10-year battery life. And how these work, you put one per hour. In our case, we've got one in the lounge, and then we've got 3 others. We've got one in the workshop, one in a storage shed. I've also got one in the loft, and I'll talk about that why in a minute. And so we've got workshop, loft, storage shed, and front room. They are all linked, so if one goes off, they will all sound. Now, some of the more expensive ones have a capability of silencing one, but it will then tell you which alarm has been triggered. But in this case, they will all sound, and then you just have to work out where the problem is. Fortunately, I can get to all of the locations within 30 seconds of hearing an alarm go off in the lounge, so there should be no particular problem with that. So now, I've got so much equipment in the workshop, it's really stupid never to have fitted a smoke alarm in here in the first place. Of course, years ago they didn't have a wireless option, perhaps a wired one as part of your burglar alarm. And in fact, strangely, I did recently contact ADT, probably early summer, about getting additional smoke alarms fitted, but unfortunately I never heard back from them, so it wouldn't have made any difference in this case. But strange coincidence, that one. So I also thought about where we've got bits and pieces, electrical items, and we do have we've got multiple CCTV systems in the house, and one of them is hidden away in the loft, and of course if that went up in smoke, well, the whole loft would be full of smoke and the flames would be taking the roof down probably before we had the slightest clue. So we've got one of these wireless linked ones right above the equipment in the loft. So I think we're pretty much covered now. Virtually every room has a smoke detector, and I guess if you had enough money, you should probably fit a wireless one into every single room or shed, outbuilding, whatever you would like to protect. So that is that. The kitchen's a tricky one. Could we have had anything in place that would have triggered the alarm quicker, or triggered an alarm quicker, perhaps not the ADT one in the hallway? Yeah, possibly not. This is a heat alarm, and this specifically for kitchens and that sort of thing. You can buy smoke alarms that are not sensitive to perhaps you burning some toast, that sort of thing, but I suspect they'll be triggered quite a lot. So I went for this heat alarm, and it basically is looking for a sudden and unexpected increase in temperature. As it says on there, quicker detection of fast flaming fires. Now, whether that would have helped in our particular incident, I don't know, but it's there now. This particular one, what was £13.50. The price of the other ones were about £50 each, but I managed to buy 4 for £80 on eBay, so you just need to have a little look around on that. So we have got the heat alarm now in the kitchen. The door is removed, as I've already said, so the smoke will quickly get into the hallway and trigger the main alarm, which is exactly what happened. I suspect the Daewoo had been smoking and smouldering for probably some time before it actually burst into flames, which is when the smoke got really bad, I think, and then triggered the alarm. pretty quickly after that. The other thing we have got is the standard FireAngel alarms, ST622. This was a pack of 2 at £20. I think I buy 2 or 4? I think I just bought 2. I wanted one additionally at the top of the stairs, and one other room. Where did I put it? I think it was one of the back rooms. Whatever. Every house is going to be different. You've got to decide, which is going to be the best option for you. These are not wireless linked, but that was not required where I can put these. The other thing we bought was a fire blanket for the kitchen. This is 11 quid, and you simply hang it on the wall. There's a single screw that goes into a cabinet or whatever, and you hook this over it, and you just give these cloth tabs a good tug, and the fire blanket comes out, and you can smother a fryer fire or whatever you've got. In our case, I soaked 2 tea towels and covered the appliance with those, and that pretty much doused the flames. It was still glowing, a little bit of flame under the tea towel, so I pulled the plug and just chucked a palm full of water over the tea towel where it was still glowing and flames were still showing, and that finally put it out, and then we got it outside. But yeah, this fire blanket might be a lot easier for pan fires and that sort of thing. Don't think it would have helped in our situation because it wouldn't have neatly smothered the whole thing like a wet tea towel did. Yeah, so we've got one of those installed. And probably the most important thing was we bought 2 of these fire extinguishers. These are powder ones, 6 kilo powders, and they cover fire types A, B, C, and electrical fires, which is pretty much everything that you might get in the home. Now we've put one of these in the hallway, and we have also put one at the top of the stairs. We have a very, very small landing. It's reachable from the bedroom, in a split second. So we've got one up there and one in the hallway, so if we ever get any sort of incident again, we can reach for one of these. Now this is quite heavy. This is probably, I don't know, 2.5 foot tall, relatively heavy, so this is probably not for an elderly infirm person, but your average older child or adult will be able to carry one of these around, and literally you just pull the pin and squeeze the handle and direct the nozzle. Does come with a wall bracket. Ours are just standing on the floor at the moment until I decide on a final location. Once the hallway's been decorated, especially, we're in the middle of doing that, which is what caused this all to happen in the first place, but I'll mention that on the other video. We only got this new unit out because we had the plasterer coming in on the Wednesday, and I didn't want him having cups of tea out of our older SDA1247 because it was a bit grubby and a bit of scale on it. So I thought, well, we'll unbox the brand new one, put that out, and yeah, this is what happened. But as I say, we got away with it. So yeah, a serious think is required. Also, I think you can contact your local fire station for help and advice. I know there was a scheme, because I almost got involved in it. There was a scheme where they would go out and fit smoke detectors. I can't remember who organised the scheme, but it was a few years ago now. They were after people, volunteers who would go out and fit smoke alarms into people's homes free of charge, and I didn't get involved in it in the end because I was concerned about the liability side of things, and nobody really answered the questions satisfactorily, so I didn't get involved in it. But I think there's, if you're elderly, there are some options to get free smoke alarms fitted, or at least somebody to come out and give you advice on what's what. So that's pretty much it. as I said earlier, I think once you've had a any sort of fire, you realise how quickly these things can spread, and how vulnerable you are if you haven't got the right things in place. Check your batteries in the smoke alarms, fit smoke alarms, get a fire blanket, extinguisher. They're not expensive, they really aren't anymore, compared to the aggro that you might go through after a fire. And like I say, I'm going to do another video on this shortly, and we're going to talk about Wilko's response, we're going to talk about solicitors, we're going to talk about loss adjusters, and how we've really not been helped at all by any of them, frankly. We'll do a separate video about that in a minute. So check your house, think carefully about what equipment you've got. Have you got anything in the loft that could catch fire? Get the smoke alarms fitted, wireless link ones if required, fire blanket, fire extinguishers, and all stay safe. It can happen to you. Didn't think it would happen to us, but it did. Brand new piece of equipment, no fault of our own, so it can and does happen. I'll catch you all later.